Going to call to order tonight's Finance Committee meeting. We will stand at this time for the invocation, followed by the flag salute. Dear Lord, once again, we just come thanking you for blessing us with the gift of another day. Just ask that you would just look upon our community and bless us as we go through bad weather in the next couple of days. Ask that you would look upon this council as we come together to do the work and your will. Ask that all that we do be with purpose and led by you. These are many of the blessings we ask in Jesus' name. Amen. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oklahoma flag.
I salute the flag of the state of Oklahoma and symbols of peace unite all people.
Finance Committee item number 1, please.
Consider approval of Finance Committee minutes of January 13, 2025, or take other necessary action.
You have the minutes before you. Are there any corrections or additions to our minutes?
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve our minutes. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford? Yes. C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hoos?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes.
Item number 1 passes. Item number 2, please.
Consider approval of claims for all city departments January 4, 2025 through January 31, 2025, or take other necessary action.
We have a report from the Purchasing Committee.
Yes, the Purchasing Committee did meet this afternoon, and we approved the claims. I move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve our claims list. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford? Yes. C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hoos?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes.
Item number 2 passes. Item number 3, please.
Consider approval of change orders number 5 and number 6 for the Swim and Fitness remodel, project number 2023025, with AC Owen Construction, LLC, for the amount of $10,464.60, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Wilkerson? Okay, Mr. Reed.
This agenda item was for a new fire alarm system for the Swim and Fit Center. It included 13 horns, 11 strobes, 8 pull stations, 4 addressable duct detectors, 7 addressable smoke detectors, and 1 fire alarm control panel. The system was inspected by the Muskogee Fire Department and was approved. I'd be glad to answer any questions. Staff does recommend approval.
Thank you. Any
Move for
questions?
approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford? Yes. C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hoos?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes.
Item number 3 passes. Item number 4, please.
Consider approval of final payment to AC Owen Construction, LLC, in the amount of $32,190.13 for the Swim and Fitness remodel, project number 2023025, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Reeves?
This project has concluded successfully. The project included leveling the existing floor, new walls for the facility, new mirrors on the walls. The ceiling was painted black and new lighting fixtures were added. New fire alarm system, of course, which we just went over. The main cardio room got a new floor, a rubberized floor in it. New televisions were added to the walls. The reception area and entrance area was painted, new flooring, and new desk was added. Staff does recommend approval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford? Yes. C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hoos?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes.
Item number 4 passes. Item number 5, please.
Consider approval of an application for a TSET Innovations in Built Environment grant in the amount of $80,000 to be used for the renovation of Honor Heights Park tennis courts and pickleball court conversion as recommended by the Parks and Recreation Board, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, this is a grant opportunity through TSET for different types of projects. This particular one's for a build project to build facilities where people can benefit from through fitness. So one of the wishes on our list was a need to renovate our tennis courts at Honor Heights Park. Everybody knows about I hope you're aware of the craze of pickleball. Our plan is to build 6 pickleball courts. We're in place of 2 tennis courts, and we will still have 2 tennis courts. This is at Honor Heights. The proposal will cost roughly $125,000. We're going to ask TSET to help us with that with $80,000 in a grant application. It was presented to the Park Board for their consideration, and they recommend it to you for approval.
I want to recommend that we approve this. The other night coming home after the concert, it was like 38 degrees out there, and those courts were crammed full of people. I was like, it's a good thing. Recommend approval.
Have a motion?
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes.
Item number 5 passes. Item number 6, please.
Consider approval of change order number 2, credit, for the CDBG waterline, project number 2023008, in the amount of $2,445.17, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Stewart? Mr. Reeves?
This project, this is a credit to this project of $2,445.17. The change order is related to an additional fire hydrant assembly that was not used on the project and was deducted from the total amount owed on the project. Staff does recommend approval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Move for approval.
I second it.
Have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes.
Item number 6 passes. Item number 7, please.
Consider approval of final payment to Cook Consulting, LLC, in the amount of $390,014.46 for the CDBG waterline, project number 2023008, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Reeves?
This project has concluded successfully. It included 1,550 feet of 6-inch water line replacement, 6 new fire hydrants added, and connections to 39 residential services were added. The project did provide lines going across the street as well, so all 39 residential services were included in this project on Elgin Street. Staff does recommend approval. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Move for approval. Love new water lines.
I
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes.
Item number 7 passes. Item number 8, please.
Consider approval for the City of Muskogee Airport Manager Drew Saffel and the City of Muskogee Airport Board Chairman Tyler Evans to accept donations, contributions, or sponsorship on behalf of the City of Muskogee for the first annual Warbird Fly-In to be held at the Muskogee-Davis Field Regional Airport on March 15th, 2025, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Evans?
Hey, good afternoon, Chairman, everybody. If you remember last year, the commemorative Air Force Group Tora chose Muskogee as their new practice location for the Air Show Act. Last year's event was phenomenal. It was kind of a last-minute put-together event for the public, but it seemed to be really well received by our public. Actually, it was really well attended. So this year, we'd like to build upon that. Tora is coming back again to practice her upcoming air show season, and we wanted to make it even bigger and better. So we wanted to make an event that was focused around our military and our first responders to go along with their air show act, practice performances that they'll be doing out there. So far, I've reached out to the Army, Navy, Marine, and Air Force recruiters. They all stated they wanted to be there. They like to participate and recruit. I've reached out to our local first responders, include Police Department, Fire Department, EMS, Emergency Management, Sheriff's Office, OHP, the Oklahoma Game Wardens, Cherokee Nation, Creek Nation, you name it. I've probably called them and talked to them, and they're real excited about this event coming. So far, we've got 3 helicopters coming, and I feel pretty confident we'll have 6 by the time this day gets here. So it's turning into a really big event. I would like to go out and try to get some donations. It's going to be free to the public. It's going to be at the airport. Like I said, we're assisting with it, and so I think it'll be a really good event. I just need permission from the committee here and from City Council to go out and seek donations on behalf of the city and the airport board to help with this event. Be happy to answer any questions. If it does pass, there is one amendment I'd like to request, is to change the name to the first annual Salute to Service Day instead of the Warbird Fly-In. Be happy to answer any questions.
That sounds great. I move for approval.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes.
Item number 8 passes. Item number 9, please.
Consider approval for the City of Muskogee Animal Shelter to receive a donation in the amount of $20,851.99 from the Jack Bethany Jr. Estate, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Evans?
Ms. Tracy, would you like to read this, or would you like for me to?
Go ahead, you're fine.
Okay. If you don't mind, may I read a little bit
Most
of background on
definitely,
this?
please. Yes.
Mr. Jack Bethany Jr. was an employee of the City of Muskogee from May 2002 until his retirement in December 2013. Mr. Bethany served in several roles during his employment, including Code Enforcement Supervisor and Chief Building Inspector. He also served on various boards and commissions for the city after his retirement. Mr. Bethany passed away on August 15th, 2023, and was laid to rest with full military honors. Mr. Bethany graciously donated a portion of his estate to the City of Muskogee Animal Shelter totaling $20,851.99. This donation is greatly appreciated and will be used to make improvements to the animal shelter to include new flooring, paint, ceiling repair, and technology upgrades to include a welcome monitor, displaying pictures of animals available for adoption, and computers for the animal control vehicles. These repairs and investments would not have been possible without this donation. Staff recommends approval to accept this donation from the Jack Bethany Estate. Be happy to answer any questions.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any further discussion?
Maybe this will give other people an idea that they can.
That was very
be
nice.
ready.
This
Yeah,
is
that
very
was
much
sweet.
appreciated.
Yeah, very, very appreciative.
Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes.
Item number 9 passes, and that is our final item for Finance Committee.
I'd like to open the Public Works Committee meeting for February 10th, 2025. Item number 1, please.
Consider approval of Public Works Committee minutes of January 13th, 2025, or take other necessary action.
Everyone's had a chance to review the minutes. Any recommendations for amendments or a motion to accept?
I move for approval.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes.
Item number 1 passes. Item number 2, we are striking that. And just to note the record, Dan Hall is the Vice Chair of Public Works. He's been appropriately positioned there. Item number 3, please.
Consider approval for the use of the Muskogee-Davisfield Regional Airport to host the first annual Warbird Fly-In and the commemorative Air Force Tora 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 event, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Evans?
Hey, good afternoon again. This is an item to essentially allow us to use the airport grounds for the event I just talked about. I do ask you to amend the name of the event to be the first annual Salute to Service Day. Other than that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Move for approval as
Second?
amended.
So I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes.
Item number 4, please.
Consider approval of an agreement with Tetra Tech in the amount of $135,240 for sanitary sewer evaluation services, more particularly in the Haskell Boulevard area, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes, we have worked with Tetra Tech in the past to do sanitary sewer evaluations to help us determine where we need to do replacements and repairs to our sanitary sewer lines. We have a manhole over on the corner of Haskell Boulevard in Utah that every time we get a lot of rain, it looks like a little fountain. It has surcharging coming out of it, so we know there's infiltration of stormwater into the sanitary sewer system in that area. That's why we have defined that basin as one we need to evaluate. There is a copy of a map in your packet that shows the actual area and the sewer lines that we're going to evaluate. But roughly the area is bounded on the north by North Street, on the east by York Street, on the west by Chestnut, and on the south by Haskell. They are going to put a flow monitor in that manhole that I was speaking of on the corner of Haskell and Utah. It will be in there for 60 days and will monitor the flow and help us do an evaluation of that. They're also going to be in that area doing smoke testing, line cleaning, TV cameraing, assisting us with the mapping, making sure the maps are correct for that sanitary sewer basin. This is one of the areas that has given us problems, and we know it needs repaired, so this will help us evaluate that and decide what to do next. Do recommend approval, and we'll answer any questions. And by the way, this is going to be funded out of the OWRB loan for the sanitary sewer side or the clean water side. So we do have the funding.
Move for approval.
Second it.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes.
Item passes. Item number 5, please.
Consider approval of an agreement between the City of Muskogee and Waste Management of Oklahoma for the purpose of solid waste disposal to be effective March 1, 2025, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes, Mr. Chairman and committee. Rick Padgett from Waste Management is their public sector manager, is here today. And Rick and I met way back in December of '92, probably before that, when we did the original solid waste agreement with Waste Management for us to dispose of our waste out at the Muskogee Community Landfill. So what we have before us today is an agreement that needs to be renewed. This agreement originally was written in 1992. It expired in December of 2022, and because we were limited on space for the landfill at that time, we did a month-by-month agreement, which is what we're currently under. Waste Management is currently in the process of expanding their operation out there, which will give us many more years of service. So what we need is an agreement with them to dispose our waste out there. This will give us 3 free Saturday disposal days and 4 additional free disposal days for our azalea cleanup. And by the way, they're tremendous help when that azalea cleanup comes. We were able to haul a lot of trash off from the city during that event. There's only one major change in this new agreement, and it's taken us from a billing of yardage to a billing of tonnage. We're currently paying, or fixing to pay, $10.45 a yard. That's just fixing to go up. And in the conversion, it's going to go to $31.70 per ton. And by the way, now, when a trash truck goes out there, we pay for 20 yards of trash, whether that truck has one piece of paper in it or it's completely loaded. We're obligated to pay 20 yards. So in this new agreement, we will pay for it by the ton. So we'll pay actually for what's in the truck itself. Rick had the Waste Management look at the figures, and I've looked at them for an annual basis, and these rates are just very comparable. They're going to be about the same, and as a matter of fact, it may actually benefit the city. There is a $1.25 ODEQ tipping fee that's also on the fee, but that's required by the state, not by Waste Management. I do recommend approval. Rick is here to answer any questions, but we do recommend approval.
Move for approval.
I second it.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions, Mr. Stewart?
I would like to add that we also get $1.81 per ton in royalty fees too as well. So every yard or every ton of trash that goes in out there, we get a royalty off of it. I want to make sure you knew that too.
Thank you. If no further discussion, roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford? Yes. C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Excuse me, Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes.
Item passes. Item number 6, please.
Consider approval of the appointment of Ren Stratton to the War Memorial Trust Authority, filling the unexpired term of David Weston, commencing upon appointment and ending August 31, 2026, or take other necessary action.
Mayor Kell?
Yes, thank you. This appointment's for former Mayor Ren Stratton. She's had a real interest in relocating and keeping the batfish in Muskogee, and she's going to be a real benefit to this authority in that endeavor. So I recommend approval.
Have a motion, I have a second.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes.
Item passes. We do have one citizen signed up to speak this evening. I want to call your name. You come into the podium, and you'll have 3 minutes. Ruth Buffington?
He's coming. This one is
Good evening. It's a pleasure to see each one of you. Wanted to tell you I did not give every one of you a packet. I did want to call to your attention, March 3rd is Senior Day at the Capitol. Eastern Oklahoma Development District, Area of Aging, which I attend every other month, had the privilege of our House of Representatives being here in Muskogee. They came to the Eastern Oklahoma Development District. So what I have given to you is some of the information that Avery Fricks and Neil Hayes received that day. It basically lines out every act that is now sitting before the House or the Senate. Specifically, why I want to call it to your attention is because it affects retirement for our, I don't know, on the front page I didn't have, on the front page, this is from Esther Hauser. She is on the Area of Aging. She says they are back. Some of you have that piece of paper. Abel, you have that piece of paper. Basically, it says that here you have who, how in the House, who in the Senate is supporting what bill. And it says if there are appropriations. So you know that if the appropriations are not there, we have a problem. The House and the Senate has to match. So I'm giving you the information, and you can go through and see your tracking. Which ones are you interested in? Are you interested in the one that relates to the Vulnerable Adult Acts? We have people here in the city, either in a nursing home or in home situations, in which we're not getting complaints. We're saying, how do we research and make sure that people are being taken well care of in the least restricted environment? So I call to your attention some of the other pieces of information. And Abel, if you can see on the front piece that I don't have in front of me, but it talks about the police retirement. It references other bills that are affecting our city. So I ask you to be mindful that Senior Day is actually March 3rd. Any one of you, Derek, I'll give you the other information. You can get this back to me regarding all of the issues. Have a pleasant Valentine's Day. Thank you in advance for your assistance. And then particularly, Abel, if you will show them that cover letter from Esther that says the retirement, the police, how it's affecting.
Sure.
God bless.
Thanks, Ruth.
Thank you, Ms. Buffington. That concludes tonight's Public Works meeting.
We will now call to order the special call agenda, Muskogee City Council. Roll call, please.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Here.
Jamie Stout? Here. Tracy Hous?
Here.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Here.
C.B. Abel?
Here.
Melody Cranford? Here. Dan Hall.
Here.
Tom Martindale.
Item number 1, please.
Hold a public hearing and consider approval of ordinance number 4248A, an ordinance of the City of Muskogee, Oklahoma, establishing a zoning classification and annexing territory adjacent to the city limits upon the petition of the owner of said territory located in the Northwest Section 15, Township 14 North, Range 18 East, and a portion of the John T. Griffin Industrial Park, or take other necessary action.
We will now open the public hearing. Mr. Coleman?
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, before you, you have 3 actual public hearings regarding annexations into the City of Muskogee. These are all running together as they are creating contiguous parcels to be able to get to the third parcel. So they're all listed individually, but they go together. The owners of these properties have petitioned with the City of Muskogee to be annexed into the city. The Port Authority owns one piece of property. Ferdinand Technologies owns the middle piece of property, and the Herald Fuel Trust, and I apologize if I mispronounced that name, owns the third piece of property involved here. We'll have public hearings on each individual property, and then as we go through this, staff is going to recommend that we table each one of the ordinances until the 24th.
Okay, we will now,
We don't have anyone signed up,
No.
so we're going to close.
okay, we're now going to close the public hearing. Is there any council discussion?
Why are we wanting to table till the 24th?
There are other items that are related to these properties that are coming up on the 24th, and then we can run them all together.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to table to the 24th?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
C.B. Abel.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kale.
Yes. Item number 2.
Hold a public hearing and consider approval of ordinance number 4249A, an ordinance of the City of Muskogee, Oklahoma, establishing a zoning classification and annexing territory adjacent to the city limits upon the petition of the owner of said territory located in the Northwest Section 15, Township 14 North, Range 18 East, and Northeast Section 16, Township 14 North, Range 18 East of the Indian Base and Meridian, Muskogee County, Oklahoma, in a portion of the John T. Griffin Industrial Park, or take other necessary action.
We will now open a public hearing. Mr. Coleman?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, as discussed in the previous item, we will be asking that you take public input this evening for the public hearing, and then table ordinance 4249A to the February 24th meeting.
Mr. Michael Gregg, I think, wanted to speak to this item. Just your name, please, that's it.
Michael Gregg, 4131 South Rob. Thank you, Mayor and council members. I would like to speak to that, as we heard just a while ago in the 4248A. I'm curious about the name Ferdinand Technologies. Who owns it? It's an LLC.
I don't know.
Okay. You go into New York Times, you'll find an article concerning the company that actually owns this, YZY Capital. And it's owned by a Chinese gentleman. And there's several articles. I just have a short version of it. I know he's putting in, or going to put in the one in Oklahoma, which is supposed to be a 50 mil data center. And then also he's going to put one here. It's going to be the same thing. And I'm concerned about having a Chinese communist that's a party communist itself owning the land and putting a business here. I'm surprised that the diligence wasn't done to lead back to who the overall business owner is. He is and does live in New York City, but he's also bought land, I can't remember exactly where, that might be Nebraska, near Microsoft. You may have seen that in the paper. And he sold land to another Chinese holder, so it's also near an Air Force base. It's been in the paper more than once. My concern is that I'm looking through the information. I know that these particular data centers that they have, there's going to be 2 of them. I don't know if any of them have started yet. Projected for 22 in Oklahoma, 24 for us. And I haven't been to the location to find out. My concern is that we know data centers don't take many employees, so they're basically 40. And if you go through the New York Times, you can find this, but the article itself stated national security, so New York Times is not a conservative paper. So if they're concerned about national security, as we all know, there's been issues coming up about that. So my point is, I think we need to do a better job of doing due diligence to find out who owns the company and who owns the property. Now, the attorney might be able to know if that's true or not. Can Chinese own land in the United States? I don't know that. I have no clue. I happen to have some Chinese people that's renting a house next to me. Originally, they were the ones that came with the buyouts for the marijuana. The same group doesn't live there. Cars came from New York, California, and every place else. I do watch my neighborhood. And they still have somebody there, but not a group of individuals that are young. So I point this out to you because of the urgency that we need to watch out. I'm all for all businesses coming here to start with. We want employees. This one we're talking about, the 2 different data centers, about 40 people per the article. And you have to put whatever trust you can on articles, but that's what it stated. So none of the data centers, including the one coming up, which is Core Scientific, is going to have very many people in it. And I know Core Scientific is going to be much larger, 10 times as large as 500 megawatts. And so we've had a conversation, and I've talked before about water consumption and energy. They've energy, OG&E is supplying that. But the key here is, I think, we really need to look at what we're doing with the people we're bringing in. I'm all for business, but we must be sure that these people are going to do right by our country, number 1, and by our state, number 2, and our city, number 3. So I am surprised. I've never found a Ferdinand in the list. There's several other LLCs, but I've never found that. So I just want to be sure. I know we're developing that corridor. We're going to have blockchain with Core Scientific, a little different than the data, but they're all going to have basically energy, and it's going to be all from lithium batteries. I just ensure that you watch what you're doing. California is still having fires at their data center. Actually, it's a battery center. And we've had a fire, and obviously a devastating one up in Missouri. Again, lithium batteries. So just be cautious of what you're doing. And again, thank you for the time. And I hope that we continue to look at these things a little better. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Craig. Okay, we'll now close the public hearing. I guess we've got council discussion. If not...
Move to table.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Can I ask, I'm concerned about Mr. Gregg's comments. Is there a way that we can find out this LLC and some more information? I think we're threw out some information and we're leaving the community in the dark. I know that there's a future public hearing, but I think that's something we need to address, if it's correct or not, or, if anything that we can from this information that Mr. Gregg has presented to us tonight. I just don't want to walk away with it without any type of response. And I know we may not have it tonight, but I would like to have that at our next.
This being one of Katrina's projects, I do not privy that kind of information. I can certainly inquire with her, Deputy Mayor, and try to get that information back to you. But that is not information I have with me tonight.
Thank you.
So one of us will call you, Mr. Rick. Somebody, one of us will call you.
No problem. Patrick's got my number.
Yeah.
Kimber seems to want to
Is
speak.
it?
Is she allowed to speak? She's not.
Well, if we open the hearing back up.
Then we close,
Close it.
We can open the hearing back up.
well, we have another public hearing.
Oh, yeah,
before
okay.
going through, so.
Go to number 3.
Okay, item number 3.
We've got to do a roll call.
Oh, sorry.
We've got a vote. We've got a first and a second. We just need a roll call.
Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford? Yes. C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hoos?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Excuse me, Mayor Patrick Kale.
Yes. Item passes. Number 3, please.
Hold a public hearing and consider approval of ordinance number 4250A, an ordinance of the City of Muskogee, Oklahoma, establishing a zoning classification and annexing territory adjacent to the city limits upon the petition of the owner of said territory, located in Section 16, Township 14 North, Range 18 East of the Indian Basin Meridian, Muskogee County, Oklahoma, and a portion of the John T. Griffin Industrial Park, or take other necessary action.
We'll now open a public hearing. Mr. Coleman?
Mayor, members of the council, this item is similar to the two previous public hearing on a annexation property owned by the Harold C. Fuel Trust, and ask that you go ahead and table ordinance 4250-A to the February 24th meeting.
Mrs. Scott, did you have something where you could add that might be helpful?
I'm here to address Mr. Gregg's questions regarding Ferdinand Technologies. Ferdinand is also Headwaters. Headwaters is who we've been working with in conjunction with the end user. Mayor Kell, I know you've been in some of those discussions as well as some of the other council members. We actually met with Headwaters at the Port Authority about 6 to 8 weeks ago. Just to go back a little bit, the Port Authority, my predecessor Scott Robinson sold the property to YZY many years ago. The Port Authority bought the property back from YZY about a year and a half ago. We bought the property back and we sold it to Headwaters. It's my understanding that the county is behind on their records, and if you'll give us a little bit, we'll provide you with all the information you need to show that Ferdinand is Headwaters and they own the property.
Mrs. Scott, thank you for that clarification. It's very helpful. And we'll disperse that when we get the information. Okay, we'll now close this hearing. We're going to, do I have a motion to table it to the 24th?
I make a motion to table it.
So, can I ask a question? I get what she's saying about the transfer of LLC to LLC. Can we still get clarification on who those people are? I think that was his question. It wasn't about necessarily the transfer of YZY or whomever. His question was about who those people are, and that's still his question. So we would still need that in our next meeting, who those people actually are, because that's his question, not necessarily the name of the LLCs and how those have been swapped.
Thank you, and
Thank you.
we'll make that part of our clarification process.
Roll call.
Okay, roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hoos?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kale.
Yes. Item number 4, please.
Consider approval of Resolution Number 3021, amending the City of Muskogee municipal budget, excuse me, for fiscal year 2024-2025, providing for the increase in the general fund budget, providing for the increase in the animal control license budget, providing for the increase in the sales tax capital outlay budget, providing for the increase in the 2019 capital improvements budget, or take other necessary action.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. If you're familiar, this item was on the January 27, 2025 meeting. This is a simple housekeeping item. I made a mistake in the posting, and where it says 2019 Capital Improvements Fund, I had put Streets Fund. So this is just a simple correction. There's no changes. All the documentation was correct. Just wanted to make the clarification so there wasn't any confusion.
Thank you.
I can answer any questions and recommend approval.
Move for approval.
Second it.
We'll chain you in the dungeon later. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes. Item passes. Item number 5, please.
Discussion, consideration, and possible action on Resolution Number 3024, a resolution declaring the intent to consider approval of a project plan and creation of one or more tax incentive districts under the Local Development Act, directing preparation of a project plan, appointing a review committee, directing the review committee to make findings as to eligibility and financial impact, if any, on affected taxing jurisdictions and business activities within the districts, directing the review committee to make a recommendation with respect to the proposed project plan, directing the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Muskogee to determine conformance of the proposed project plan with the Muskogee Comprehensive Plan, and to make a recommendation with respect to the proposed project plan or take other necessary action.
Okay. The action before the council tonight is not a vote on project approval or incentives, but simply a decision on whether to move forward with evaluating the desirability of the project. Mr. Nate Ellis, would you like to speak to that?
Sure. Good evening. Nate Ellis, the Public Finance Law Group. As you are maybe familiar with other tax increment financing districts or TIF districts that we've done in the recent past, this is a tax incentive district, which is under the same statutory structure, slightly different. Instead of capturing new revenue, it actually provides for an abatement of tax payments on an ad valorem basis. But the process for considering those is the same. So this is the initial resolution that would authorize and direct the creation of a project plan that would be the governing document, and then establishing a statutory TIF review committee that would have representatives of all of the affected taxing jurisdictions, as well as the city and the city's planning commission as part of that committee. And they will review the project plan. They will make a recommendation that will come back before you. The Planning Commission would also review the project plan, make a recommendation to you. There would be 2 public hearings that would be required to be held. And then once all of that has transpired, then the city would be in a position to consider an ordinance that would actually establish the tax incentive districts and adopt the project plan formally. So this is kind of the start of the process. This does not obligate you to create a tax incentive district. Again, this just starts the process of review. Ultimately, that decision will be made by the city council at a later date.
So who serves on this committee?
So it will be representatives that will be appointed by the county health department, the county EMS, the Eastern Oklahoma Library System, Indian Capital Technology Center, Hilldale School, and also Muskogee Schools will all have representatives as the ad valorem entities. The council, your next agenda item after this, if you adopt this resolution, would be to appoint a member of the council to serve as the chair of that review committee as the council's representative, and then the planning commission will also designate one of their members to serve. So those would be the representatives on the committee. Those representatives will actually select themselves 3 at-large representatives. So the council representative chair provides a list of names, of 7 names, to the balance of the committee, and the balance of the committee select 3 of those to serve as at-large representatives. So we'll have I think maybe 11 people on the committee total. I didn't count, but
So I have a question.
yes.
It's okay.
I have several questions. How will the names, so we're seeing where it's suggested that the mayor be chair. Is there any way that other council members can serve on that committee?
Other council members could serve as one of the at-large representatives. My suggestion would be that's typically not done. Those are open meetings that are subject to Open Meeting Act, so it'll be special call meetings of the TIF Review Committee or TID Review Committee. Agendas will be posted, so certainly the council is welcome to attend any of those meetings to keep informed. In my experience, it makes sense to have other representatives of the community serve as the at-large, because ultimately the council will be making that decision at the end. But again, it doesn't preclude that, but that's typically not seen.
Okay. My next question is, what is the timeline for the formation and the information getting back to us? Because, like, it seems as if some of these things have already taken place. So can anybody answer those questions?
What's the question exactly?
So, we received an agenda already, right? Is that the same?
There was a sample one that was.
Right, the sample agenda that already listed him as chair. So has that already taken place? I'm confused.
No,
that'll take place this evening.
So how do we get the agenda?
So I'll ask you a question. Is there a TIF review committee scheduled for later this evening?
I don't believe this evening.
Or, well, I just heard you say this evening. I don't know. I don't know when.
It was dated the 10th.
I think there may have been a draft of a document at some point, but to my knowledge, there has not been a meeting scheduled. The body has not been created, so until the city takes action tonight, if you decide to, that would establish the committee, and at that point in time, then there could be meetings called and held to begin their process.
So we have no say in the persons that will be selected of the said.
Of the other representatives?
By the chair. So we're asked to appoint the mayor as chair. Do we have any say in who he appoints, or is it just that he gets to do everything and we do what?
Statutorily, as the chair of the committee, whoever you select as the chair of the committee to serve as the council's representative, they will submit a list of 7 names to be considered by the remainder of the committee. So the chair won't actually vote on any of those. They'll select 7, put those out there. The balance of the committee of the taxing entities will select 3 to serve as those at-large representatives. That is typically the purpose and generally the only purpose of the first meeting of that committee, because then once those at-large representatives are selected, then they'll have another meeting at a later date where everyone can be in attendance and they can actually proceed with their consideration.
Okay.
Well, I guess, for clarity for council, this committee, when it comes to final decisions, all those final decisions will have to circle back around to the city council for approval, even if we're not at the table for the immediate meetings. Those items are approved by, if we establish a district that we want to give a TIF to, TIF districts and so forth.
Only the city will have the power to actually establish the district. I will tell you a difference in the tax incentive or TID process versus the tax increment process that we've done in the past. In the TIF process, tax increment, their recommendation is purely advisory. In the case of a tax incentive district where there's an actual tax abatement, meaning the taxpayer will have a deferral or won't have to pay property taxes as part of that TID district, each of the taxing jurisdictions actually have to formally approve that agreement to do that. So there's been concern in the past about, do the schools have enough say in this process? They have significantly more say in this process. The city is the only one who can create the TID district, but for it to be effective, it will need the consent of the other taxing entities.
Right.
You may mention that all these meetings are open meetings, so councilors could come in and attend these meetings, but I guess some of our concern as council is that when there's information out there that it comes back to the council, we have a lot of stuff that makes it through the community, and when councils are called upon, we don't have answers, and so, just a footnote for the committee that, we need some kind of process to make sure that the councils are informed on issues that may be concerning, that we may have to answer for and give account for.
Yeah, I think you could certainly coordinate, information that's presented to the committee could be disseminated out to the council members. And then with respect to your attending the review committee meetings, I think on behalf of Austin and Katrina, if you're planning to do that, you might make sure that the clerk knows she could do a special call. If there happens to be 5 council members there, that needs to be a special call. And you can do that and have no action, and you're just there to observe the council, or observe the committee meeting, but just make sure you do that so we don't inadvertently create an open meeting of the council that in violation of the statute.
I understand all of those things. I just take great issue with the fact that there are citizens in this community that already know about this project, and I've been called several times, and I have no information. And I think that moving forward, we need to be, if our mayor is going to be chair of this, which I know is the next item, but while we're discussing this, if that's going to take place, and then we are going to have to rely on him for the information, I would like it. And if that information is to be privately kept because of non-disclosure agreements and all of those things, it needs to be kept, because it makes us look foolish as a council to continue to get calls like that, and we have no idea, but he knows. And while I don't have an issue with him being chair, I do have an issue with looking like I don't know what I'm doing because I'm not given information. And I just want to be on record as saying, if that's going to be the case, we need the information as soon as possible, even if we have to sign something that says we won't say anything. But I take great offense to not knowing things that citizens know, and they voted for me to be their voice. And right now it seems as if they're being mine. Thank you.
I might add that I take non-disclosure agreements very, very seriously. And in some of these meetings, we have other folks around, maybe from school systems, maybe from the county. I don't know. I'll just leave you with this. I take non-disclosure clauses very, very seriously.
And that's why I'm asking that maybe we should sign them as well, because we're not privy to information as a council that other people are privy to. And when our citizens that elected us come to us and they already know names that we don't know that these projects are pertaining to, it makes us, and I didn't say you did it, I just said the information was out. It makes us look as if we don't know what we're doing. So if one person is going to be the chair, I would like personally to know what I can do to get this information. Even if I can't give it, at least I know about it. Because right now, tonight, we're talking about something I have no idea what it is, but I've heard from citizens what it is. And if in fact, when this is all said and done, it is what it is, somebody leaked it. And I take great offense to that. And I'm not saying you did it, I'm saying whoever is in that space did it. And it falls back on us because inevitably we're going to make those decisions. And that's my point. Not that it was you. Somebody didn't take the NDA seriously, because I'm getting calls and I'm getting laughing face emojis, and I don't appreciate that. So I'm going on record publicly saying, whomever it is, that should not happen, because it puts us in a position that we should not be put in. So I'm not saying who did it, I'm saying it was done, because we have the text messages, several of us, and it makes us look as if we are incompetent for those things to continue to happen. And I just want to go on record as saying that. I'm not saying who did it, I have no idea. I just know that citizens know about this project already.
Mayor Kilm, I'll be recognized.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So on this, each one of the taxing entities are representatives, so that's going to be the Muskogee County Health Department, their taxing entity, the county commissioners, the county EMS is a taxing entity, both public schools.
Yes. And
The library and ICTC, okay. So we're kind of heavy county on the deal, and then we're going to appoint some other that could represent the city on this, because if we got to, I just want to make sure that when we do the appointing, it'll be more like people for the city, so city planning, and then the three other, you submit the 7 names, kind of go for it. Okay, I just want to make sure I understood all those things. Thank you. Got no further questions on that?
I might ask Mr. Gregg if you'd like to come back up here. Did you have a question on this item number 5, I think?
I think I'll hold to the later. Decline, please.
Okay.
Mayor?
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
You bet.
I think if you're doing the committee and we do some things through Opens Meetings Acts, there can't be a meeting tonight because there could not be a published agenda. So, I mean, I hope there's not a meeting tonight. But anyway.
It was just a draft agenda.
Okay.
But it was dated for tonight, which is why I brought it up.
Well, but I think that, with discussions that are going forward, we need to make sure that we appoint somebody. And my understanding is even if there's non-disclosures that are signed, things can be brought back in executive session and discussed within the council and with staff as needed. So, and I know that we keep pounding on things in communication. I trust Mayor Kell that will continue to do that, because you verbalized to me that that's how you're going to, proceed with things, making sure that you get information in a timely manner. So I move for approval.
I second.
And we've got a motion and a second, and I'm going to assume that it's for the mayor to be chair.
We're on this one.
But we'll assume that next.
Been assumed.
Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale? Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes. I thought we were through item number 6, please.
Consider the appointment of a member of City Council to serve as the city's representative and chairperson of the Review Committee created by Resolution Number 3024, or take other necessary action.
Dave, would you speak to that?
So you have established, you've adopted the resolutions that establishes the committee. Now, action you need to do is appoint a member of the city council to serve as chair of that committee.
I see it important that our mayor serves as chairman of this committee. I'd like to make that motion.
I second it.
Okay, we have a
So can I
motion.
ask a question or make a comment before that's done? Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So it was stated previously that our mayor is already in those meetings. So is there a way that someone else can serve as chair so that there are 2 people in there? If he's already in there?
Well, they haven't even had, you haven't had meetings
So-
yet, have you?
The body doesn't, the body didn't exist until
yet.
moments ago, so
Well, I
As
know
of-
that,
as of
but
right now-
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. I'm asking, it was kind of rhetorical. I get that.
Can we have 2 members of council serving on the committee?
That was my question. That's just yes
If-
or no.
you will need to designate a representative to serve as chair. The chair, among their nominations, could include other council members to potentially serve, or there could be nominations for an at-large representative. It would be up to the balance of the committee to select that person as opposed to other nominations that are made.
While I'm not opposed to the mayor being chair of the committee, Counselor Hous just stated that there are things that could have been brought back to us already that were not. It is a strong suggestion of mine, it may not have ever been done before, it is a strong suggestion of mine that we have someone appointed from council in that space other than Mayor Kale, because we did not get any information that we could have gotten, information that had nothing to do with the non-disclosures that he takes seriously. So I'm for the approval of him being the chair I'm asking that someone other than him from council be in that space. That's my suggestion as we move forward.
We have a nomination on the floor right now, don't we?
Yep.
We have a nomination on the floor.
Your agenda item is just for the chairperson, not for an additional
Right, I'm just making the
member.
recommendation. I'm not trying to go against the chair, I'm just saying, when he moves forward, my suggestion would be that
If he's
one
the
of
chair, he can pick people to
And my
be at
suggestion is
large.
that, right, and I'm going on record as saying, when he picks those people, one of those people should be one of us.
Nate, I'll confer with you in the next day or two and see what we can do, see how it is done and what can be done. Any other questions?
So we're not doing the number 6 item?
Yes.
Yes,
We are.
we have a motion and a second.
Yes,
We need
we
to
have a
roll
motion and a second, okay.
Just Counselor Cranford's question, I'm going to inquire as to
okay.
how we make that happen.
Okay.
Okay. Roll call.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
CB Able.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kale.
Yes. Item number 7, please.
Pursuant to Section 307B1, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, consider convening an executive session to discuss the employment, hiring, appointment, promotion, demotion, disciplining, or resignation of interim city manager Roger Coleman, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session.
So moved.
Need a second.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second, Shirley. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale. Dan Hall. Melody Cranford.
Yes.
CB Able.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous. Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Hale.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
We will as soon as everybody takes out.
Find out a lot from Facebook.
Oh, absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
I just don't want to.
Okay, we're back live.
To discuss. Yes, yes.
Coming back into session,
Regular session.
roll call, please.
Mayor Patrick Hale.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Here.
Jamie Stout. Here. Tracy Hous.
Here.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Here.
C.B. Abel.
Here.
Melody Cranford.
Here.
Dan Hall.
Present.
Tom Martindale.
Pursuant to Section 307B1, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, the council convened an executive session, discuss the employment, hiring, appointment, promotion, demotion, disciplining, or resignation of interim city manager Roger Coleman. Given the discussion, I believe an appropriate motion would be to accept the resignation of Mr. Coleman effective April 25th of 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
C.B. Abel.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Hale.
Yes. Motion passes. We are now adjourned.